Please give a warm welcome to our host, Irene Rompa.
Leading up to this conference, I reached out to many of you in the audience to ask one simple question. What's top of mind for you right now when it comes to cybersecurity? And I'd like to share some of the themes that came up in those conversations. There is not a single person that I spoke to who did not mention the current geopolitical context. One of you put it as follows: who are our friends? That's what's become unclear, he said. Can we still trust the partners that we've always relied on? A few months ago, the NATO summit took place in this very location. And unrelated to anyone's political affiliation, everyone agreed that the re-election of Donald Trump has led to a more unpredictable diplomatic environment. And several of you pointed to the closeness between big tech and Trump. Someone said, and I quote, "And we have all our data in the American cloud. It is a wailing security risk." Someone else pointed to the irony that even projects related to digital sovereignty sometimes end up on big tech servers. Beyond Trump, a great majority of you pointed to state actors, how espionage has become sabotage, how much more strategic it's become. Sea cables, GPS jamming, OT systems under stress. It is clear the world has shifted and our assumptions about safety and our alliances must shift with it. But when talking about safety, to my surprise, a great majority of you pointed to the lack of basic hygiene in too many organizations. I quote one of you who said, "My message to the people in this audience, and yes, I understand they're in cyber," he said, "do your homework properly." I spoke to someone at the NCSC who put it this way. She said, "We're most worried about state actors, but we're most busy with organizations who still don't have the basics covered." A non-committal, loose attitude towards safety and security in this threat landscape, we simply cannot afford it. Incidents. Again and again, you referred to recent incidents, and there were many. Many of you pointed to the hack at the Dutch police, the public prosecutor's office that went offline, which is still felt today, the Microsoft SharePoint server, and of course, the data breach at Clinical Diagnostics. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. But you also mentioned a shift in public perception. Beyond data leaks, or as one of you said, I hate the word data leaks, it's data theft. Beyond data theft, we're also realizing how cyber attacks can disrupt critical services. OT security is becoming as important as IT security. Last week, we saw days of disruption at several European airports related to a cyber hack. I was in Portugal in May when the electricity was shut off, and what I thought was so fascinating is that I was sitting on the beach that afternoon, and that first afternoon, everyone around me, regular citizens in Portugal, were all speculating that maybe this is a cyber attack. And I thought this is so different from a few years ago. Of course, this is emphasized by the Dutch government, who advises us to have an emergency package at home. And normal citizens now also understand that our critical infrastructure, our ability to get cash out, electricity, water, clean water, is related to cybersecurity. Okay, another theme, NIS2. Just like last year, the Cybersecurity Act and the NIS2 directive dominated the conversation. Belgium is seen as a showcase, you told me, and many of you are frustrated with the ongoing delays in the Netherlands. With NIS2 comes expanded responsibility for the supply chain. One of you said small suppliers are the new battlefield. And another mentioned the new buzzword of the year, which according to her is chain resilience. Speaking of buzzwords or not, AI, of course, also part of many conversations. Most of you stressed AI-driven attacks and phishing attacks, telling me that it's become so easy, the barrier has become so low for hackers to send automated emails, hundreds of them at once. Others are mostly exploring AI to defend against AI. Now, lastly, the human factor, because of course, in the end, humans remain the weakest link. Some of you stressed that we should seriously expand our conversations to beyond systems and include the stress, the fatigue, and the necessary recovery that you as expert defenders also need. And she said, we're not necessarily taking care of humans in our disaster recovery. Now, I'd like to finish by quoting one of you who said, the internet is like a spaghetti. You know what I find most bizarre, she said, is how little goes wrong. I'm amazed by how well things are going. I quote, of course, sometimes there are ransomware attacks, sometimes there are data breaches, but on the other 363 days of the year, we just carry along and things are going quite well. I'd like to add a note from the organizers and from myself to that last observation, which is that when things do go wrong, strong relationships within this community are key. And we all know that trust and relationships are built in peaceful times. So you know where and how to find each other in times of crisis. And we hope that this event contributes to that goal even further. So welcome again to the 2025 edition of the One Conference.